for the live, and I will do the introduction. Hi, good morning, good evening, depends where you are. I'm Irene Wong. I am owner for a dancewear business, and also have been a competitive dancer for 16 years. And I am your co-host for the Everything Ballroom. And our goal is to share the joy and benefit of ballroom dancing and inspire more people to learn about this fascinating industry. We hope you like what we're doing and give us thumbs up and subscribe to the channel Everything Ballroom. Okay, today I'm so excited to introduce this amazing guest. I've been always looking forward to have her with me, and she has been my idol. Every single time I watch her dance, my heart melts. Okay, and she is the current world and US national professional American spoon champion. And how hard it is to become to a world professional champions. And I'm hoping that she will give us a lot of tips and insight, and I'm sure we'll all learn from her. So I can't wait to talk to our guest today. Dun, 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 dun. Galina Detkina, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Thank you for joining. I really appreciate your time, and I have goosebumps just talking about I can be able to talk to you live here today. And before we start, I always want our audience to know a little bit about you. Can you share a little bit about you, and also give us something that most people don't know about you? The fun fact. That would be great.
Well, first, everybody will learn today that I'm really bad with setting up the camera because I can see my screen, my iPad is keep moving. I keep trying to. So I think I'm very technically challenged person when it comes
You're
to the technique
artist.
outside of the outside of the ballroom technique. But I'm sorry if you're gonna see my camera moving because I set it up on the iPad. It's kept shifting.
You're
I'm
looking great. No problem. We just need to hear your voice, and then that's all it matters.
Yeah, so what can I share with you besides that what I'm sharing with all my students and all my audience on the dance floor? I think through my dancing you can tell a lot about me, what kind of human person I am. But mostly I feel very shy talking about myself in general because all I can say, I leave it out there on the dance floor while performing. But if you're going to ask me direct questions, I will be very glad to share whatever I can
Okay,
share with you.
that's good. That's fine. So it's already giving me one insight. A lot of people said, ballroom dancing, you need to be out there, you need to be extrovert in order to perform. But you just tell me a very key thing.
I'm
Don't need
moving
to
this
be.
camera.
That's
I'm
okay.
moving
You
this
don't need to
camera,
be,
yeah.
you can be a world champion even though you are shy and introvert. So
Oh,
I can't wait.
to be honest, including myself, and the only exception is my partner, my dear partner, Roman. But most of the people who I interact with, including my students, I think we all are more expressive on the dance floor versus the regular life. So I think most of the people who are drawing to our art industry are people who focus more on inner self. And then that's dance floor is one of the places where we can feel ourselves more expressive without hiding. But most of the time, the dancers that I'm friends with, I don't. It's not the type of people that out there. So I think
That's
that's
good
why
to
all of us are drawn into the ballroom or performing art industries because we feel more open to express ourselves without using our speech through the body
that.
language, through the movement.
Yeah, I love this because I'm extrovert. So people seeing me, I tell people, come join me for dancing. They always say, I'm not like you. You're out there all the time. So listen to you and hear what you said about this. can help me because I always love to invite people to join this journey. It's such a beautiful, it touched my heart every single time I see dancers or I myself dancing. So what you said is so beautiful. So before we start, tell us about you, where you're from, how you start ballroom dancing and, a little bit.
Uh, I like to say that dancing entered my soul before my soul entered my body.
Oh,
Because as long as I remember myself, I always was dreaming about becoming a dancer, not necessarily ballroom dancer, but a dancer, actually a ballet dancer, that my body wasn't developed to become a professional or even an amateur ballerina. But I'm glad that it didn't happen because American Smooth to me, this is the form of dance that I would never trade for any other style. Um, I think the first time I entered the dance studio classes was at the age of 4. And my mother, she's also was a very well-known dance teacher back in Russia for the kids. So she was also in the beginning of my dance journey was my teacher. And then of course, like many of you who are parents know how hard it is to to organize their kids. So she had to give me away to other teachers to
I
teach
totally
and
understand.
coach me. Yes, but I started dancing at the very early age, and I always dreamt to be a dancer. And basically, I became who I dreamt as a child. So I'm fortunate to be one of the few people in the world who we all dream to become something, and then whether parents are not supportive of that, or sometimes we're not brave enough to go for our goals. But I think in ballroom dancing, the beauty of our industry is even if you just start dancing as an amateur dancer in a pro-am, that gives you an opportunity if something in life had stopped you from becoming a performing artist in the youth age and becoming a professional. This is great opportunity for all of us and all of students to be there, despite the fact that if it didn't happen as your profession, or if something, like I said, most of the time is the family who are not supportive of that, and then we give up on our goals. So I think in pro-am world, the ballroom industry brings all of us great opportunity to continue being a performer, despite the fact
That's
that it
me.
couldn't happen on a professional level. Sometimes it's even better, because then you have an opportunity to have a normal life, normal family, and then on top of that to be a dancer, which
Yeah,
most
I
of the
think we have the
professionals
best of
do
both
not.
worlds.
Yeah, but most of the professional performers don't have this opportunity till later, or some of us miss the chance for good. So there are
I would
benefits
say
of being
never is too
professional,
late.
but there, yeah, whatever it is we take, right?
Right. So this is good. I mean, I said never too late to do either way, right? You're a professional, then you come back to the life. And then we all live so much longer. And then we were not professional and coming to back to the performance art world. So we intertwine around life, right? That's life to us. So which is wonderful for your standpoint. So you said you start, in dancing and ballet. There's so many people actually in the parent side is always start with, get the kids to ballet, but nobody in US start the kids in ballroom dancing, period, right? So it is very interesting to me is
Unless
that
it's a Russian speaking community, Eastern European community, that's when they bring their kids most of the time earlier, like around age 5, 6. That's already when we see here, because I'm based in Miami, and we see a lot of children from youth age starting taking
yeah,
ballroom
I'm
dancing very serious. Yeah.
that will be great. I live in Northeast, white community and whatever the US community, and really have very limited. I wish more parents, bring the children to the ballroom dancing, right? So you can talk about, share the differences between ballroom and ballet, and the parents can see the benefit of bringing the children, to this, amazing industry. So I really passionate about this, like you. So that will be a great, articulate for you to talk about the differences between you seeing the ballet world, the girls and or the kids doing that way, and the ballroom worlds, how it different.
How different it is? I think it depends from the teachers who are bringing their knowledge to the young generation. And I think this is very, very important because here's the fact that I know that is unfortunate in ballroom dancing as raising as little kids. Sometimes this form of sport can bring different qualities in young and young souls. Instead of developing the love to art, the respect for your competitors, the respect to the teachers, the respect to the teammates, it also can bring the qualities that are not that welcomed in the future, like jealousy, like being too competitive. So I think it's very important starting. And actually, let's talk about it. It doesn't really matter because that can be also, those feelings can be evoked as a already mature dancers. Yes. So I
Yeah.
think one of the top, especially for me, when I teach my students, my ladies, I always try to make sure that everybody is working just on themselves. We should not focus on or envy or disrespect the dancers next to us. We never know how much effort they put into it. We never know what they experience inside. So it's very important that we only focus on our own development and compare our own development to who we are today compared to who we were as dancers a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. I think the fact when competitiveness gets really into not healthy direction, I don't think anybody benefits from that, and winning on that terms does not bring any happiness, the real happiness, if we're talking about the happiness that is in sync with the good in your heart. So I think that is very important, and that's what I recommend for all of the dancers, whether it's young kids who start, not to develop the competitive side of ballroom dancing as a minus. Competition that we are dealing with is the main competitor is ourselves, is to fight our own fatigue, our own doubts, our own fears. That's what we compete with while you're practicing on the dance floor with your teachers or your partners. That's when the competition starts. When you get on the competitive floor, to me, it's just celebration of the hard work that you and your team have put into it. And then the result might come, or even if it doesn't come, you still experience happiness. But if you're only focusing on winning, become the best of all or better than anybody, I don't think that's the goal that should be motivating us.
So that is such a important learning. I start with that goal. I win, but now, it really changed. I become a real dancer. I think you become a real dancer when you feel the joys and not focus on winning and not focus on better than anyone else. I think that is the biggest, plateau and growth, from what you have said, right? So I danced for
Yeah.
16 years. So, I have that journey to be winning to, oh, just
Well,
dancing.
I had this journey myself, because I started at the early age, and of course, when you a younger girl, you are motivated by different goals to be the best, to be better than anybody. Till I matured and understood it myself, I came to this that it's really not the purpose of being better than anybody else. The purpose is to be better than I was yesterday, to be better tomorrow than I was today, to put my maximum effort, I think. And that's when actually the results started getting in sync with my goals. That's the only time when, especially during pandemic, when it was challenging for most of the dancers to keep themselves motivated, because when the competition's out of the list, yeah, we lose that focus. But if you stay true inside that it's just about every day becoming a better dancer than you were an hour ago, that motivation never can expire, whether you're competing or you're taking a break or yes.
Yeah, I
So that
totally agree.
motivation has no expiration date.
I love this. I think the journey is not about the age. It's the journey of the dancing journey from competition dancing journey. And I think everybody go through this because like what you said, when you start younger, so you go through that younger. I start later. I went through this, in a later age. So that's my learning as well, is that if the more the mature people that excel is when they go through that hump of not competing against each others and focus on self and grow and learn. So this is always insane. And I'm hoping all the dancers, pro-am dancer out there, especially the new beginner. So you will go through this phase to win, focus on winning, to another phase of, truly become a better dancer. So I love.
And of course, that always helpful if the teachers are on the same page. That's why I started with it's very important for the teachers who are raising the next generation to already plant the seed, for them to know what's the true value of dancing is.
I also agree with you. So to finding people like you already, went through the phase, already up there to understand the process and understand the journey to help us, right? So I was talking to Graceland, said she's so lucky to have you to be coaching her.
Well,
So
she's lucky to have me, but we're also lucky to have her because she's one of the most dedicated students that I have met. Like one of the few who really puts so much effort traveling and driving to the studio, practicing, always working on her looks, what dress she's gonna wear, and things like that. So it's feelings are mutual in
no,
this
I
team.
think it's always the mutual respect and mutual to grow each other, empower each other is the theme we see in this community if you want to do better. And that is the best, seeing you or the people like you to learn about that. So now we're talking about, for a lot of Poan dancer competing, right? So what your tips to winning, gaining attention in the dance floor, what is the learning suggestion, what to do, how to do practice, workout, those kind of things. So any suggestion for
Okay.
us? We do want to win to get better, even though we say
Okay.
we win against ourselves, but what was your
Yeah.
tip?
I think one of the most important qualities, and I'm really not separating amateurs or we're all dancers, right? It really everybody's trying to do their best, yeah. So I'm talking about the dancers. To me, one of the most important qualities when sometimes when I get to judge competitions, which is not my favorite thing to do, I like to be a spectator or performer, but I think the sincerity of it is the most important quality. This way, even when you see a dancer who is maybe already outline of the performer's age, but you can see that student of 80 years old just truly enjoy the movement to music, and you can see the eyes of the 18-year-old girl in the body of an 18-year-old girl in the body of 80-year-old woman. That's the beauty of it. That's when, despite of the technique, whether it's glamorous or not so, it can still touch the audience, can touch the judges. So the sincerity, the true joy, dedication to the movement, I think that's what doesn't matter, again, of the quality of the technique, will touch and move. And if we're talking about winning or being a competitor, let's not forget that the judges are humans too. They're part of, they're part of the audience. Only they have their pen. to mark, but if you touch them on the human level as a performer, that to me, that's, I only can share what are the what I'm moved by when I'm a judge, when I can see that sincerity and that almost sometimes desperate dedication to the art. You know, when you see that the person just leaves the moment, when there is nothing left. By the time they leave the floor, there is nothing left for them to say, that they said it all.
Oh,
Don't
that's
how I always say, don't just I think to myself, because I do a lot of self-talking before I enter the floor, during the competition, between rounds. You know, I always say this, like, it's like, who knows, especially after facing the pandemic, yeah, we don't know how, when we're gonna have a next opportunity to get on the dance floor. I mean, how are we sure that you're gonna compete next month? How are we sure that we're all gonna go to Emerald Bowl or whatever, right? How do we know that? We only can assume that it's going to happen. So each time we have an opportunity to dance, we have to give the fullest dedication to that, whether it's just rehearsal, studio showcase, or big competition. Every time, full out, like this is your last time.
so. How do you what is the self-talk? So, what you're going to tell yourself before you walk out of the dance floor. So
Oh,
we're going to learn from everything. Sometimes we
okay.
don't know what we don't know, right? So that's
Mhm.
why we want you
Well,
can.
I know that fear and the nerves before the competition is a big part for every dancer, right? I
Yep.
mean, I haven't met one performer, again, professional and amateur, who doesn't have butterflies in the stomach before we get on the floor. First, we have to admit that this is normal. Every person that I speak to, every successful dancer that I talk to, have this. If you're a champion one time, two times, three times, 10 times, well, I don't know about 10 times, but every time, just being successful or being on top doesn't mean it secures you from not having those nerves or butterflies. You actually do have even more responsibility. So the first step is that we all have to admit that being nervous, having your hands shaking or your legs shaking right before you enter the floor in the morning when you set up yourself for the performance is normal. Just the fact that we're all nervous means that we care about how we're going to perform. And then whatever for everybody is different, but like I do the self-talk and I talk to myself, what's my mission for today, what my plan is, not plan, but what is the goal, why I'm here, what do I do, what is my mission. So things like this between rounds, from dance to dance, that helps me to stay focused and do my job.
Do you brainwash yourself, say, I'm the best dancer? Because that's what my teacher tell me is, right? I'm the best dancer on the dance floor. You walk out like your champions, I'm the best, those kind of talk. Does it what you self-talks or you're just.
Well, I already have noticed that I don't like the word best in general. I when it comes together with a noun, I only like when it comes with a verb of what I can do. I will do my best. I will
I
put
see.
my best effort. I'm gonna work the best that I can do. Saying I'm the best, I'm best for who? For my fans, for my family, but there are so many of us, and some girls that are dancing next to me, they're the best for their friends, they're the best for their mothers, they're the best for their lovers. So the word the best, I'm not using towards myself almost never, because I think this is something that, again, it takes you out of the true road. And to me, it's always like, what do I do in order to touch my audience? How do I torture myself on the dance floor to bring that emotion and to be loved by my audience? But saying I'm the best, if I go there with that attitude, I don't think then the energy between the audience and the dancers is really, it's not that kind of energy, at least I motivated myself and together with my partner and my teachers. I will work the best that I can to make sure I can satisfy and evoke the emotions in my spectators that watch me. So that's like the self-talk that I do is, if you want to hear exactly the words that go, is God, universe, please use me as the tool to deliver your message to the audience through my body and through my art. And I pray for it because I know all the performers are just the threads from whatever the musicians, the artists, the singers, the dancers, we're all there to send the message. And it's really just the God or universe, however you can name whoever believes in who. We're just the messengers.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful. I really love what you focus. Now, I used to say that way. So now I learn is really what I can do, right? So to connect with the audience, to bring out the best. So this is beautiful. I think that's a
and
great.
very important fact is to be able to enjoy yourself. If those two things merge, the joy, the fact that you're enjoying your dancing, and then you can see the reaction of the audience, and when those two come together, that's the most successful performances. Sometimes it's not always like, sometimes you think the performance is great, but then you can see that it doesn't really, or sometimes the audience can be tired also. I mean, don't forget, as pro-am dancers, you dance in the first part of the day, and then you go to watch the professionals, and sometimes it's already so late at night that it's very difficult to wake up, any emotions in the audience. That so sometimes doesn't matter how much you give, the audience is just tired. So it's always it has to fit, everything has the right audience, the right attitude from you, the right music, which is important, the lighting and in the ballroom. So all of that, that when all of that comes together, that becomes magical. Those are the days of performers when you will remember and cherish
I love
forever.
the magical words. I have goosebumps when when you talk about that. I definitely, when that moment, the feel, the audience cheering for you, that kind of emotional drive is amazing. So now you're talking about the magical part. I'm looking at you. I always memorize. And then your performance already talked about that. But how you look, you dress, your styling is always very unique. I heard that you're making your own costume and you have your own brand of your costume. Can you talk about that effect to dance competition, perspective? I am a dressmaker as well. So that I think to me is to my heart on that, the performance. Yeah.
So I cannot say that I make my own gowns. Is my mother, Anna, who is
Oh,
the magician in that area. But our work is collaboration of our fantasies and ideas. I'm more working on the design because I'm very particular about what lines look good on my body or the body of the ladies that we're making gowns on. And my mother Anna, she can she can make that magic happen, because I mean the way she does things is just like whatever I do with my practice when I dance and rehearse, that's how dedicated she is when she makes a gown. Most of them are all handmade, so she only used the machine for hemming and things, but whatever on the upper body, that's all, like most of the time is everything handmade, and her poor fingertips always have all these blisters from the needles, but it's a lot of dedication. And I think that's why the gowns that I wear, they bring the effect again of the to the audience. Sometimes I walk in even before I started to move, I already hear from the audience. That's again the result of the hard work and dedication that we put into it. But to be honest, when we're getting ready for the top events during the year, like let's say United States Championship, or I don't know again where to put this camera because I keep holding. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but
I
your
lost you.
is,
Yeah. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
we
How
can't
do
hear
I
you.
get back?
We can hear you, but not the screen is freeze. So the network
Okay. Do you see anything?
is a still picture of you freezing.
Okay. Okay.
That's okay. So we can still hear you. Oh,
Now you got it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of the time, what I was saying before, the big events like US Championship and World Championship, sometimes I spend more time during the fitting and standing in the dresses because everything is done on your body. It's not like we do use the mannequin, but most of the things is done when you're standing in that gown. And I always complain that I spent more time during the fitting versus rehearsing, so it's very tiring, sometimes very stressful, but the outcome is, can't
Most
complain
important, the
on that.
outcome,
Right.
right? The outcome looks beautiful. Yeah. So at least you see the value of, think about your styling, because I'm a dress designer myself. So I always understanding yourself is important and then create a persona for that dance. And then when you go out and then compete, that is important, right? So from catching the attention, make people feel who you are. I always tell my customer and say, you dance how you feel. Okay. Some teacher will tell you, oh, okay, they like this, they like that. But if that dress is not for you, it's not for you.
Yes. Yeah. That's true.
And I don't want, I keep telling the student, my clients say, feel yourself, not just listen to your teacher. Teacher's important, they give you advice, but the feeling, because dancing is a performance, is understanding how you feel and bring out your best within that dress is more important than the brand or anything else, I think, do you agree with that?
Yeah. Yes, I do. It's important. Well, several things important. How we feel in the dress, how comfortable it is. Does it limit our movement? Does it give the freedom? Does the fabric, when it touches your skin, does it give you goosebumps? Is it itchy? Is it not? So it has to be comfortable to the point that when it becomes almost like your second skin. The movement, the flow of the skirt. So as for Latin dancers, the heaviness of the skirt, how does it embellish your movement? So all of these things are to consider when you dressed into it. And of course, very important, like you said, is how you personally feel in that dress. So again, that's when it has two things have to come together: how I feel, how the audience like it. Right.
Yeah, perfect. So this is really good. I want to leave some room and time for the audience to ask you questions. Everybody's waiting for that. And anything else you want to add as a tips, for people, besides the things that we talked about before I open the mic for the audience? Any other tips that you're thinking about,
From me, or are we waiting on the on the question?
Yeah. Anything else before I start opening the tip?
Yes. The tips. Besides what I said, when it's about like don't compete with others, compete with your own things, is when one of the most important things that I discovered for myself, when you also doubting maybe whether how during the day of the event, yes, gratitude is the one that's going to help you overcome many challenges. Because sometimes we think that what we have is a norm, but if we think how many people don't have an ability to dance at all due to their life circumstances or body circumstances. How many people are there that not able even to walk? So gratitude to what we have, and gratitude for the ability to be honored to be dancers, gratitude that we have teachers, that we have partners to dance with, gratitude that we have the competitions to enter, just all of that. I think being grateful for these things, just when you start thinking of all the little details that you have and being appreciative of it, that helps also to motivate yourself, to motivate and to loosen up sometimes that stress factor of the competitions, because that's what happened to me when Roman and I, when we just had our first debut performance at the Highest Star Ball in 2017. I woke up that morning thinking, oh my God, we're absolutely not ready. So when Roman will when I will hear from him, I will tell him, I'm sorry, I need more time to get ready. I'm not going to be able to perform tonight. And then I saw him later on and I said, I think we should wait. Let's wait a little bit more. Let's prepare more. And then we're going to go. Let's call it off. And then he already knew by then how emotional, what an emotional creature I am. But then in the evening, when I walked into that Highest Star Ballroom, when none of the audience was there yet, but I saw the competition crew setting up the lights, setting up the music, like doing the sound checks. And I thought, what am I afraid of? I should just be grateful for the fact that I have an opportunity to go out and dance with my partner, and just I'm blessed to be here. And that was like all the fear in that moment when I was thinking of that, it was gone. I mean, it would come back during the competition sometimes, but then I would always say, I should just be grateful that I have this chance to dance, because many dancers around the world do not.
Oh my God,
So gratitude is the gratitude is the word that can help us to deal with many challenging situations.
Oh, I have goosebumps when I hear you saying this. Oh my God, that's so true. So we always said, I keep saying that all the time. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And hearing a champion telling us that is what you also go through, that helps a lot. We are all normal, and then we all went through these experiences. This word, I just can't have the word cannot explain how good to hear about what you say, for all the people. I'm
But
hoping.
the feeling of not being ready, just get used to it, because it will be always there. It's like we're supposed to perform and compete in 2 weeks at the competition. And just recently I told Roman, I said, if we're not going to get, I think we should reschedule and do later, because we're not ready. And he looks at me already, of course, smiling, because this is not being ready. It doesn't matter whether you're a champion or 3 times champion. The feeling of not being ready, it's always there, and it's normal. So just, it's a process. Being ready, it's a process. So
That's a good advice, so we can all go through this. Thank you so much. This is super, super helpful. I learned a lot. So now I'm going to open the mic for the audience. So if you are on Zoom, underneath your bar, there's something called reaction, your toolbar. And you can just, raise hand, and click on the reaction, and then you can say raise hand. Ellie can share, once you raise hand, and then you can see who have questions. Oh, see, if you have raised hands, then you can see on the side. So that's okay. So, okay. I see Alina, you're raising hand. Can you,
Yes.
Ali, do you mind to spotlight Alina? And then unmute yourself. Perfect. You can ask question now.
Okay, thank you, Galina,
Hello,
for all your
Alina.
hi, Galina. Thanks for all
Nice
your
seeing you.
amazing insights. They are extremely helpful. My question to you is a little bit two-part. What technical and or artistic aspects do you embrace about American Smooth, and what would you like to see more of?
Um, in the technical aspect, what I do respect a lot in American Smooth dancers when they dedicate the part of their time and their training to the fundamentals and the technique that is identical to international standard ballroom. To me, it's all ballroom. It's just different. Like there is no difference in the fundamentals in comparison. Like for example, rhythm, American rhythm versus Latin is two completely different programs. Ballroom is ballroom, so it's a different form, but it's important for me to see the weight shift from the leg to leg done in the ballroom manner, whether it's international standard or American Smooth. It's all based on the same fundamentals. What is even more important to me in the artistic aspect is that we stay true to the origin character of the dance, and that we really spend time on thinking what every particular dance is about, not to try to copy other forms of dancing in the waltz. Waltz is waltz. It's not rumba. It's not. That's what to me is important for the dancers to understand the origin, feeling what waltz is about, the origin, feeling what tango is about, because tango is often being mistaken with other dances like paso doble, or which tango has absolutely nothing to do in common as a feeling that evokes between man and woman compared to paso doble. What the foxtrot feeling is, what the Venus was, what are those dances about? So it's important for me that dancers dedicate enough time to each criteria that we're trying to bring up, whether it's technical, but don't take for granted all of these things. Invest your time into discovering what the essence is. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
You have a second question, or this is it? Okay, good. So now, Trent, so you have a question. Anybody, again, to continue to, you can raise hand if you want to ask a question. Hey, Trent.
Hi, thank you so much, Galina. I love all the
Hello.
information you provided. Um, I have a question specifically about the smooth performance. Technique aside, the performance is really what gets you, the applause or the marks. Um, Specifically with regards to connection to your partner and connection to the audience. How do you balance between the two? Because you could really get lost in the partnership and not really connect to the audience. And I wasn't sure how you balance that, to improve your performance while also making your performance resonate with the audience. Really, that's, I it's
Yes.
around in my head and I wasn't sure how to address it. So I really appreciate your
Yes, but
insight.
I think that's a very great question, and I'm glad to answer it because it also makes me think a lot. Me personally, I like to together, of course, with my dear partner, I like to have an idea that this is the conversation, yeah, that whatever is going on is between two dancers, and the audience is just witnessing what's happening between the two performers. And of course, there are moments that you have to engage because we're not on stage like in the theater when the audience is on the other side of the ballroom. Here we have normally 3 or 4 sides of the spectators who are sitting very close. So of course, it's great when you interact with the audience and you acknowledge the audience as well. But I think maybe if we, not being too specific, but maybe 10% of the time I would find in our personal choreographies when you interact with the audience. For me, most of the time, it's still about what's going on between two partners, whether it's the teachers or the professional partner. And actually, when you dedicate more of the connection, visual connection to your partner, it unconsciously makes all of your shapes better. It brings more of the incline in the body, more romantic inclines in your body when you look at your partner, when you spend more time by looking at your teacher or your partner versus the audience. But yes, you're absolutely right. We also have to engage with the audience. Only I would still prioritize the connection, visual connection with your partner.
Thank you so much.
I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. You gave me really good insight. Thank you.
Any other questions? No, and then we'll have a Gracelyn. Thank you, Gracelyn. And you're on the train. Thank you.
Gracelyn, a long time no see.
Long time no see. I would like to ask you a question about how you go about developing your show dances and how you manage to always present something that's so beautiful and so heartfelt. How do you find your music? How do you develop those show dances?
And of course, all the credit goes to my mentor, my my dance life teacher, Talia Tarsinov, together with his teammate Marina Tarsinov, with his spouse and partner. That she always does the final check when the show dance is ready and gives her feedback. Creating show dances is one of the most important part in my dance journey, because I love the fact that we get to choose the music, get to choose the theme, and then work on it so particular. And then you have all these little details that can be seen by the audience that sometimes cannot be seen on the competitive floor, so with other dancers around. But all I have to do during this process is to be open to the ideas of my choreographer. And I would even say not open, but being pushy. Let's do this, let's do it, because we have choreographed, I think this year, I forgot the, I think it was number 11 routines, 11 show dances that Talia has choreographed for us this year. So of course, each year it's more and more challenging because you always have to step up. But all the credit goes to him, starting from the designs of the dresses. We always discuss the music. Sometimes it comes from him. Sometimes Roman and I can find or hear a beautiful piece. And each year it becomes more difficult because music comes first. The theme comes first. When you have that inspiration, when you're guided by the theme and the music, then later on the process takes it easy. But I think just like in designing the dress, finding the right fabric is number one. Then the design comes afterwards. So it's like finding the music that's going to give you the theme, going to motivate you and help you to create the next step. Finding music is the most challenging one.
The story, that's what I feel like. It seems like you identify the story, who you want to be. That's the theme, right? And then you get, the designer, and trust your coach, like, your coach. I found that, a lot of students, if you have better relationship, trust your coach, like, you have more experience and they will guide us through, when I started, I always feel like I have a lot of my own opinions. Then the more I meet with a great coach, the more you trust them, they actually, help us as well. So Alina,
we always have to remember that none of the great things is achieved by one person. You always need a team. Always. So I think if we don't trust the people who teach us. If we don't trust them enough, then we're stealing from our own selves. So I think you find the ones that you trust, and trust, I cannot say 1,000%, and just go. They know what they're doing. Like I trust my coach like 1,000% in everything, and I follow, and I don't doubt. And if they ask me to try something that is challenging for me, before say it's not going to work, I will always try.
So thank you. That's so important. And then sometimes, I do tell people, if you don't trust your coach, maybe it's time to change. So, it's important, is a partnership, is communication, is dedication, is a team. So put it out together on that. Thank you for saying that. So sorry, Alina, now.
Hi again. I actually just have two questions. One is, what career would you have chosen if you were not a professional dancer? And then what are some of your funniest memories during your dance career?
Great question.
If I choose not to be a dancer, I would choose to be a dancer.
That means you choose the right thing. I always say, do what you love, you don't work a day. I mean, that means that is the best career ever you have chosen.
Yeah, I mean, I have lost dancing in my life for 8 years during already an adult age. I was not related to dancing by any meanings.
We didn't know
so that. Yeah, actually for both of us, and Roman in his adult age, he had a break of not being able to dance for about 9 years. And same thing for me, I was not being a dancer during my adulthood life, about 8 or 10, 8 I think years. That gave me more understanding of how valuable this for me is. So
what were you doing for the 8 years?
I was trying to find myself, and I couldn't find myself. I found myself back in dancing. So if I weren't a dancer, I would choose to be a dancer again. And Alina, your other question was the funniest.
Some of your funniest memories during your dancing career?
I can say what were the most of the horrifying things during my dance career. That are now, of course, looking back, that's what seems funny. But at that point when it was happening, that didn't seem funny at all. But during my partnership with Roman, we did have the first year of our competitive journey. We decided to do as many competitions as we want, and we were just traveling from one to another and one to another. I don't know, we were doing like 3 competitions a month at least. And then at some point we had to come to the competition. It was Desert Classic with Igor and Irene Suvorov, and I didn't make her appointment. And that was a disaster, because normally I can easily do the bun. Easily, like it's not a problem for me. But that day something was just not working, and it was already like 1 hour left before you have to, and then I see it's 5 minutes before I have to go, and my hair is still not ready. I mean, it was really a disaster. And poor Roman, I mean, he had to witness different kind of Galina that all of you can witness. And he was trying to be so helpful. And he even ran downstairs and brought me like a fake bun. And he said, but look, this color match. And the bun was like bigger than my head. And he's like, but look, the color is matching perfect. And it was like a nightmare to me. And that actually gives me an opportunity also to thank the greatest part of our team, Mr. Boyko. Without his continuous help and inspiration and all the ideas that he is creating for me, that like it's a blessing to have him. Mr. Boyko, I love you, and I'm so grateful, because after that experience, and it's not that I haven't worked with him, it's just like that one competition that I didn't make an appointment. But since then, never never again. So
Good to
at
have
that point,
professional look.
at that point, it didn't seem funny. But now, if you ask me about the funny things that happen, yeah.
So do you get
that
you get done 5 minutes in advance and then walk into the dance floor, but eventually
Well,
you
actually, we ran into the ballroom. I mean, I was so stressed, and I think Roman was even more stressed because it was just the first year dancing together, and then he's discovering how I can appear sometimes when I'm stressed. But actually, we ran into the ballroom already 5 minutes after the comp. Our heat was on, but because it was running late, we were able to manage to enter.
wow.
Yeah. And then the next day we flew in the morning, we flew to a next event. So we did like 2 events in the same weekend. And over there, Boyko actually was there. Yes, he was there. And I'm like, oh, you're here. But yeah, because we did do crazy things. I mean, Roman wanted me, the first year we danced together, he wanted to do 3 events on the same weekend. And he started like half a year in advance. I want to do that. I said, well, you want to do it, but this is not happening to me. I'm not going to do 3 events in 3 days in different states. And one of them was in California and the other 2 was on the East Coast. I don't know, but he's very
He's driven. Now I need to
he-
interview him.
he was so consistent with the offering that I said, why don't we try? Yeah. We flew with dogs. I had 2 dogs that unfortunately no longer with me anymore. But by the time we got to the West Coast, when it was time to pack and go to the airport, if dogs can speak, they would say all all that they needed to. But in their eyes, they were like, suitcases, airport again.
So do you see that now you're talking about that consistent in competition dance floor also going to be important if you want to win also? Or you don't think it's as important like what all the things that you talked about?
I think it just gives you a better mileage before you start feeling more proficient. Yes. So and again, for everybody is different, and we have to be very, very careful with not having ourselves going too crazy. Because you keep traveling, you keep dancing, you're doing one cup after the other. If you don't find time to stop and recuperate and revive and to put the fuel into your body, you can also go. It did happen to our couple as well, I think. I mean, I managed to find the way back, but I'm not going to mention when it happened. But I think also when the success, everything comes and you just cannot, how you want to keep going and keep going. And it's very easy to lose the essence again. So be very careful with always to find time to recharge, to give yourself time to rest. Because I think living in the United States which is great opportunity. And again, I'm grateful to be in this country. But one thing that we have to be careful about in the country that always teaches you to go, 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 go.
Charging.
You almost never hear stop, breathe, relax. Also, the athletic industry, like ballroom dancing, which is a competitive sport, you always hear go, 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 go from your teachers, from all the coaches. We have competitions every weekend, like 2-3 competitions every weekend. Yes, so you can go non-stop, but it can get you into the point where you lose you don't lose the motivation, but you can run into the dangerous zone. So it's very important to find yourself days when you just have an opportunity to revive. And for everybody is different. Like last year for me was big for finding that I find so much healing and inspiration in the nature. So I'm trying to spend any opportunity I have to just, even if it's half an hour, but to find that where I can be on earth, where my feet can touch the earth, when I can breathe the fresh air, when my eyes can witness the beauty that that universe designed. To me, I find it very healing. And then when I have that energy in me, then I can go back on the floor and share it through my dancing. But it's very important not to get into the zone when you always just thinking better, 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 better. I have to keep pushing, keep pushing. And when you don't recharge yourself, that's, be careful. I have experienced that in my career, already being a successful dancer, but don't lose the essence of life.
Yeah, I think that is so, yeah, like what you said, I really love the dancing. It's really reflecting to life. So we do need to recharge and then be grateful. All the things you're talking about is more than just dancing, right? To me, is like what you say, your soul. And I really connected with you when you say that, and also be able to feel good and happy when you're dancing. I feel a lot of people, because the nerve so much, they're so much stress, they wanted to win so much, and they lost the happiness or the joy of dancing, which is very dangerous, and you're gonna quit eventually. So with that, I think it's important.
Sometimes we need to take a break, but never consider quitting. If you feel like dancing doesn't bring you that joy anymore, it's good to stop. It's okay. I mean, the world is not going to end, but it's going to give you an opportunity to miss it and to understand how important it really is for you. So if you don't feel motivated, or if you feel tired, it's okay. But I have it sometimes. But that's the time when you choose whether you keep pushing, or maybe it's better not to push. Maybe it's better to take a couple of days off, or a week off, or half a year off, or get off the dance floor, forget your dance shoes, then get back. Everybody has a different journey.
Right. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And to me,
ladies, I had great time with you.
we too. And can't wait. And we're gonna have you back maybe in talking about each style if you have time. That you give a little bit more in depth around each of the dances, what the meaning is. I would love to have you give more, but we have a limited time, especially around that. You said invest the time to learn each dances, what that means and what the feeling is. I would love to have that if you are willing to give us.
And I want to invite you all to, I'm going to start online classes. Oh. I'm going to try, I'm not sure yet how we're going to name it, but it's like do's and don'ts of American Smooth. And the first one we're going to host out of the studio where I'm based at right now is Miami Dance Arts, with the students of their studio, and I want to try to do it as a online class as well. So we just spoke with Esther this afternoon. It's going to be April 3rd at 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna post it, and Irene, I'm gonna share it with you so you can share the information
we
with everybody.
Wait. Yay.
Okay, let's make it happen then.
Yes, let's make it happen. That will be grateful. We're going to share, and then the community. I love all this community. The lady is always great, and grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish you all beautiful week of dancing.
Thank you. So, thank you so much. And everyone, if you are, give us thumbs up if you like what we're doing, and the community is important, and I like everyone to share. And my YouTube channel is Everything Ballrooms, and we're going to send me questions or send me who you want me to interview or what kind of things you want to learn, and we want to grow in this community and the journey. Thank you.